Hello YouTubers, I'm now doing a reply to PWitness, who did a video response to one of my videos. So I'm doing a video response back, but don't switch off because it could be quite interesting, you never know. PWitness, yeah, he's responded to the very first video I ever did, which is quite frightening really, because looking back on it, I look younger in it. It's frightening, it was only about a year ago. Anyway, never mind. Okay, he's raised a few issues. Obviously, not a big fan of atheists, I must admit, but a few issues. The first one, he says, atheists. He talks of atheists as people who talk down to theists. And I had a little think about that, and you're quite right. You're quite right. Atheists perhaps do sometimes come across as talking down and being patronising. But I had a big think about that and I thought, well, how can you not be patronising? I mean, it's very difficult. When somebody comes up to you and says, can I talk to you about God? You go, yeah, okay, let's start at the beginning. Well, God created the earth and God created all the animals in 6 days and man and all the rest. You know it. You go, whoa, stop there, hang on. What about evolution? First thing, come straight up, the first page of the Bible, you know, how about evolution? Ah, yeah, no, evolution, that's no good. So you go into this, right, well, let's sit down, okay, and let's start at the beginning, you know, and you start going through all the various evolutionary aspects, and it seems like you're being patronising. Or is it that the person you're speaking to just doesn't want to know? And that is often the case. They're lazy in many ways, don't really want to take in what you're telling them. It's not a subject that you can just cover in a few sentences. You do need to cover it in some detail. So, whereas Genesis, making the earth, probably the first page and you're already up to day 6 sort of thing, you really do need to take a lot more in when you're talking about evolution. Although once you've grasped the general aspect of it, it is quite a simple process through nature. I'm not going to go into the whole aspects of evolution at this moment. There's plenty of other videos on that. But the point is, I can't see how you can't be slightly patronising. I've tried to think, how can I do it another way, you know? Even if I agreed with them, oh yes, God, yeah, yes, you know, well, of course that's, so God, of course, could create this sort of, could have created the first cell which went on, and that's just as patronising, isn't it? Okay, we go on to the second part. It says, people that watch documentaries, they seem to think it makes them smart. Well, if you are going to be watching things like documentaries or reading non-fiction books, of course, you are doing that to enhance your knowledge. And I'm not saying that just by watching one video or one documentary is going to make you smart, but by watching a series of them and having an opinion based on them, it's going to increase your knowledge. I never actually watched Carl Sagan. He wasn't one. I was a David Attenborough fan. Now I watch all the programs on, it's not evolution, they're actually programs on animals of today, and by watching those you could see the processes through which they became what they are today. I hope that makes sense. But David Attenborough himself and those sort of nature programs never mentioned the word God ever. That was something that came to me myself through watching them. I can't remember David Attenborough ever mentioning God in any of his actual animal videos, or programs. So anyway, I did watch some others, obviously, but you put it all together. Age, young and rebellious. Yes, you went on about age. Poor old me, eh? Yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be, I must admit, and it does pop up a bit. What's this thing about age, though? I don't understand that. I may be older than you, twice your age. Doesn't mean I've been thinking about the same things for that length of time. This last couple of years I've probably thought more about atheism. In the past, obviously I wasn't atheist, but I wasn't an active atheist. I didn't need to be. But the last couple of years I felt that I needed to be a bit more active. So you don't spend your entire life thinking about it. You're probably, what, 19 now? Well, if you started at 17, then we're on an equal footing. It's only been a couple of years since I've really been going into it. But I have obviously been watching David Attenborough for many years there. Anyway, so what's all this about knowledge and age? It doesn't really matter. Knowledge goes against the grain. I made a note that says knowledge goes against the grain. I can't actually remember. I'll have to go back and look at your video, so we'll skip that. Again, movies like Zeitgeist and things like this you mentioned. Well, you have to watch a lot more than movies like Zeitgeist to actually have an opinion in atheism. It's something I've seen parts of. I haven't actually seen the entire video, or the entire film. Anyway, what about things like that? What about things like The Greatest Story Ever Told, or things like that? You know, those stories of those great Cecil B. DeMille's films that were around when I was younger. Don't you think they were trying to say something as well? They do, don't they? They're trying to tutor you just as much. So it's irrelevant really. Now Dawkins, you ever go Dawkins? And I do think he's under a threat a lot from theists, mainly because he speaks the truth and it frightens theists. I've never heard him say anything that wasn't the truth, and that is very frightening to a lot of people, and they see that as arrogance. You know, like I said earlier, how can you not be slightly arrogant when you actually have studied it and know a bit more? And it's taken a hell of a long time to get to that point. And then when you do get to that point, you say, well, I've got to tell people about this, because otherwise they're going to be at that point that I was several years ago, and I want them to get to the point where I am now. That's the way of teachers, really. So, you say that people in general are stupid. Now, I think there's a lot of people out there that would actually agree with you. People in general seem to be stupid. The truth is that people out there don't always want to know. They're quite happy in their lives and they don't actually want to know. And that is where, of course, most theists pick up their support from people who really have no opinion on anything, because they're a bit lazy mentally and not wanted to. I'm sure I get a bit of flack for saying that, but I do believe, I've spoken to people myself, my own friends, that really have no opinion because they've never had a reason to have that opinion. It's not affected them, you know. So they just go, dunno, you know. So perhaps you could see that as stupid, but sometimes it's just ignorance. You seem to think atheists are, again, you're going about this, atheists are clever. Well, it's not really, again, about being clever. It's again about thinking about things. And the whole thing is about thinking about things. And we do actually think that most theists do not think enough about the science that has brought us to the conclusion that it has. And when we try to explain it, we're often just ignored. It goes straight over the head. So, as for insulting your clothes, well, so what? We come from a society of free speech, and if somebody doesn't like the specs you're wearing and says, oh, they're so 2002, aren't they? Well, yeah, I've had a bit of that as well. I know what you mean. I even mentioned it, I've mentioned it already on this video. But yeah, you're not going to worry about that, are you? So what? Are they going to marry you? You want to take them out? You want to be their friends? I think not. So forget that. Just go with it. Anyway, I'm waffling terribly, and I've probably just gone over time. So hey, please, you know, continue to respond to my videos, and I'm more than welcome to have a discussion with you. But please don't think we're patronising. It may seem that way, but we just want you to explain things, and that's the main thing. So Anyway, peace. Take care.